Hey, everybody. Hey, welcome to this Movies Merica episode, the latest one here with Guardians of the Galaxy, Volume 3. And I've got my own Guardian of the Galaxy right here, buddy. Say hello, Tugboat. Yeah. So he's just enjoying it right there. He's getting his belly rubbed, his chest rubbed right there. And he's going to help me out with this episode. So get ready, everybody. Let's do this.
In a world where the number of movies available is great, but many are so bad, you'll learn a new definition of hate. One man sifts and reviews through the movie sludge. One man will be the movie cop, jury, and judge. He goes by many names, but you know him by Movies Merica.
Hey there, my movie maniacs, my fellow freedom-fueled film fanatics. Welcome to this latest episode of Movies Merica, made just for you, all right? Personalized for your viewing and listening pleasure, yes. And with this episode, I will be reviewing the latest from the Marvel Cinematic Universe collection, okay? Their latest offering to the cinema gods, and that would be one Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, okay? So this is their latest attempt to entertain the masses. Now, do they? You shall see what I think, in my humble opinion, all right? But again, I just want to thank you for joining. Kick back, all right? Kick back in your beanbag chair or your futon with your...
Let's go, I'm bored, let's go.
Bros, or whatever. And let's get this started, all right? Okay, so, like I said, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 stars, who we've seen in the other Guardians of the Galaxy movies. You've got Chris Pratt, Zoe Saldana, Dave Bautista. You've got the voices of Vin Diesel and Bradley Cooper, Karen Gillan playing Nebula. You got some appearances from Sylvester Stallone. No Kurt Russell in this one, so no Tango and Cash reunion like we had in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Oh, I know, it sucks. But this one is where it takes place after Gamora has forgotten who she is, okay? So in the first two movies, the first movie had the wooing of Gamora by Peter Quill, Star-Lord, Chris Pratt, and then they get together, and then in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, they're, I guess a couple, I guess is what you would call them. And then later on in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, the other movies, they're portrayed as a couple, and then, what happened with Thanos, tossing her off a cliff to her death and all that stuff, just kind of very muddled what happened. But so that's kind of where we're at with the Star-Lord Peter Quill character. And he's depressed, because he lost the love of his life. And then the movie starts out, they're playing Radiohead's Creep, and just starts out really dour. But in this one, they have a new character show up in dynamic fashion. He attacks the group. I'm not gonna say who the character is quite yet, so you'll have to wait and watch further into the episode to see that, okay, or to see and hear that. But so he starts out the plot of the movie where he attacks the group to get Rocket Raccoon. And Rocket Raccoon, he's in a serious situation, so then the group has to venture out into space, okay, and go on a mission to, I'll just say it, save Rocket. Okay, it's not a big spoiler, all right. And then the movie just kind of jumps off from there, okay. It's just, they needed a inciting action, right, as you hear in story writing parlance, an inciting event or inciting action to kick off, to turbo boost the rest of the story. And we definitely have that in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Now, this movie, I will say that it does try even harder than the first two movies to kind of pull at the heartstrings. I don't think they pulled it off. Okay, they tried to. There's certain movies where they successfully pull at the heartstrings, tug at the emotions, and they do it in a way that doesn't seem so forced. They do it in a way where it's not obvious that they're what they're really trying to do. It seems more organic and natural. And in this movie, it seems so artificial to me, and that's just part of the MCU setting the bar so low. With the last couple years of movies, we had Phase 4, and now you've got Phase 5, and like I said, the bar has been set so low, and so will the new low expectations that moviegoers have for the MCU, will that make this movie seem better than, say, if they had seen it 10 years ago when the MCU was still in full, excitement and anticipation and fever-pitched, just everyone anticipating the latest Marvel movie coming out. Those days are long gone. Okay, we are not in those days anymore. A few normies out there are like, oh, I can't wait, a Marvel movie. Oh my God, I can't wait to see it. Anything that Marvel has, come on. I want to go see it. All right, you can put a pile of dog shit and put a Marvel logo on it, and I'll go see it. Ah! Like, you got a few of those people still out there where Marvel can do no wrong. Okay, but more and more people are catching on, right? And so maybe because of those low expectations, they'll see this. And since it is better than some of the more recent movies, which I will fully admit that's the case, they'll be like, they're so starving. They're like people out in the middle of the desert, and they're thirsty. They're very thirsty. Okay, and they see this oasis called Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, and they're like, oh, there's a couple of drops of water right there. Oh, these are the best drops of water I could ever dream of having. Oh, and so do they have that mentality with this movie? You know what? Who knows? All right, but on with the show. This movie is way too muddled. What do I mean by that? Well, let me share an illustration to you, a metaphor, or an analogy, or whatever this would be, okay? So, did you ever have a grandma that brought over that abomination known as fruitcake? And the fruitcake has all this crud in it that just doesn't make sense to have it in there. It's an abomination to the baking world. You got like dates and raisins and like little candies in there, and it just looks terrible, okay? And so it's all muddled together. And on top of that, fruitcake is something you gift to people as if you're doing them a favor, right? What? It's mind-boggling, right? Well, that's what Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is. It's just muddled. It's just can't decide what it wants to be. I mean, is it another movie, just another movie in the Guardians of the Galaxy universe? Is it the swan song? Is it the finale? It just can't decide. It's got this bizarre confusion to it, okay? This disorientation. And you could tell that they intended this movie to be the swan song. One way you can tell is during the end credits, they have all the images from all the past movies in it, okay? And then also the news, you hear the news reports like Chris Pratt, this is his last movie as part of this group here. And Zoe Saldana, same thing. Dave Bautista, he's not playing Drax the Destroyer anymore. So this is it as far as the Guardians of the Galaxy crew that we know, that we've grown to love ever since 2014 when the first movie came out. So it has to establish what is it trying to be. And in my mind, they just couldn't decide on that. And we have a cinematic fruitcake on our hands, okay? I mean, you introduce a major comic book character like Warlock, like Adam Warlock, in a finale, makes no sense. Okay, makes no sense whatsoever. That should be an introduction that you make in like the first movie or one of the sequels, not the finale. Oops. Okay, because if you're going to have a character like his that is likely going to be part of the future Guardians of the Galaxy movies, you need to establish that character in one of their earlier movies, okay? They need to be established in at least one movie before the finale, okay? It makes no sense to bring them in the finale, okay? And introduce them like they did Sean Gunn's Kraglin character. You know, I think we even met him in the first movie, I believe. But yeah, don't introduce a major character like Warlock in the finale. So that's just one of the flaws with this movie, okay? There are some positives, but this is one of the negatives. Now, this show is spoiler-free, but the show coming up here on Thursday night is all about spoilers. We're going to get super spoilery in this, okay? We're going to get spectacularly spoilery on this Thursday night during my Movies America spoiler warning show, okay? And obviously, it's all going to be about Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, all right? And I'm going to get up in some spoilers there, but I shouldn't use the word I, because it won't just be me playing spoiler for you fine people, okay? You're going to get triple the spoilers because you'll get the other two members of the unholy trinity of the of our group, our little clan. I shouldn't use clan. That's a little club. There you go. Our little treehouse that we have our club in. Got to watch it with that word clan nowadays, okay? So people get easily triggered. You know, their sensitivity antenna is like at whopping 150 level, okay? So I'm like, I don't know what that means. But Ian and Sean will be joining me on this week's Movies America spoiler warning to go over and spoil the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Okay, they're going to be flexing their spoiler muscles. And that show is going to be at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 Pacific. So that's 6 Central, 5 Mountain, okay? And that's on YouTube and Rumble, okay? You can either search on Rumble for Movies America, and that's the way to go, okay, right there. Because Rumble is the chill club with the cool vibe, okay? Where you just communicating, you're just hanging out, you're just kicking back with, your cool friends, and you're just mixing it up and whatnot. You're getting some cocktails, a little beer, whatever, some brew, and just chilling, okay? So that's the way to go, is go on Rumble, search for Movies America, okay? Or if you have to, you can go to YouTube, okay? But just, if you don't have a Rumble account, don't be lazy. Just go to Rumble. It takes you like 2-3 minutes to sign up for a Rumble account. You won't be sorry. Then you can use it from there on out, okay? But if you're kind of old-fashioned, if you're kind of old-fashioned, if, you still are set in your old-fashioned ways and you want to use YouTube, YouTube is kind of like kind of going the way of like MySpace and Friendster. Like your grandma shares her meatloaf recipes and all that stuff. It's just it's kind of a stale kind of vibe. That's YouTube. Okay, so if you want to watch it on YouTube, you can. So warning, if you search for Movies America on YouTube, it's going to try to search for Movies America. Why? Because YouTube is stupid. Okay. So if you search for Movies America, it's going to try to search for Movies America, and then right underneath that, it's going to say search instead for Movies America, which is what you originally wanted to do, but YouTube's too stupid to know that. So click on search instead Movies America, or whatever that says right there, okay, and that'll show you the Movies America. But again, it's always just so much easier to just go to Rumble and search for Movies America. Or the day of the show on this Thursday, go to my Twitter. I'm at Movies America on Twitter. And you can get the links to join the show on this Thursday. Okay? So yeah, I really want you to join us because again, it's not just me, it's me and Ian and Sean, the unholy trinity of the Till Death Podcast Network. And you can live chat with us, okay? You don't have to just sit there and watch and not participate. No, you'll have the chance to live chat with us in the show, okay? You can send us, comments about Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, questions. You can say, hey, I want you guys to talk about this, that kind of thing. Reach out to us. We want to hear from you during this show. So again, that's Movies America spoiler warning this Thursday at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific, 6 Central, 5 Mountain. I want to see you guys there. This does not bring the funny near as much as the other Guardians of the Galaxy movies. I mean, don't get me wrong, it does have some funny lines. Drax, to me, is the comedy MVP in this movie. There's a scene in there that has to deal with like analogies and metaphors that I thought was hilarious. Okay, so it's not all fallen attempts or failed attempts at comedy in this. There are some funny parts in there. However, most of the attempts to make you giggle are just throwaway attempts that just don't work. And it probably doesn't help that Rocket Raccoon is pretty much incapacitated for most of the movie. And when he is up and around, he's just moping around like somebody who listens to way too much Radiohead.
Life is pain. Life is only pain.
Okay, and maybe that's what they were going for when they decided on playing the acoustic version of Radiohead's Creep at the beginning of the movie. I don't know. Now, there are some funny new characters in this, like Nathan Fillion's character.
It's a little, yeah, I got one of those too.
Thought you said something else. Shut up.
He plays like this sentry, this guard kind of character, and he's pretty funny. Nathan Fillion is just a naturally funny, kind of affable, guy. At least the way he portrays himself in the public eye, right? Also, their whole dynamic, referring to the Guardians of the Galaxy main characters, their whole dynamic of just walking around, yelling at each other, to try to be funny and edgy and all that. It's just getting played out at this point, okay? I mean, I will give it to them. It was new and fresh in the first movie. I loved it, okay? But it was less so fresh in the second movie. And then in the third movie, it's about as stale as a 53-year-old box of shredded wheat. Okay? Because not only do the Guardians of the Galaxy movies do it, after the success of the first movie, Kevin Feige and others at Marvel are like, oh my God, now we have to make every movie this comedy. Oh my God, even these movies that originally we were going to have as like these serious, hard-edged movies to contrast, the comedy and laughs of some of the other movies, all right? We're going to have them hard-edged. Well, that goes right out the window. In true pathetic Hollywood action, they're like, oh, if something worked for this movie, let's just slap it on every other movie, even though it doesn't belong. Okay? And so a lot of the other Marvel movies could have been so much better if they didn't, use Guardians of the Galaxy as a template for the movie. But that's what happened, okay? And so that's why I hear a lot of people say about Marvel movies, like, do you always have to cut the well-earned tension with some stupid joke, okay? Stop it. You're Marvel, we can handle it, okay? You can have a tense scene without cutting it with a serious line. I mean, kind of like, a good example is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, where Peter Quill says to Ego, like, you killed my mom and you broke my Walkman. Why did you have to have that second line there? Come on. All right. That was a great tense line. Adds some great dramatic effect to that movie. Okay. Now, what doesn't help this movie is how dark it gets sometimes, mainly about the Rocket origin story. And I'll be honest with you, folks. Some of that time, I was wondering if David Fincher was who really directed this. And now, a word about the villain in this movie. So after we got villains like Thanos and Ego, the villain in this movie just seems absolutely weak and wimpy, okay? I mean, the main villain in this is called the High Evolutionary, which actually sounds more like a book that you're given in high school to read that you really don't want to, okay? And so this High Evolutionary villain has these powers that are never really explained how he got them, okay? He's more like Dr. Urkel Frankenstein with laser beam arms somehow, okay? But don't tell that to Gamora, because in one scene, she's furiously warning the Guardians of the Galaxy, specifically Peter Quill, don't go after him. He's so scary, okay? He's leading you into a trap. He's so powerful, and it's like, Gamora, you know what Thanos and Ego was, okay? In those movies, they are portrayed as so much more powerful than this High Evolutionary, okay? He's worried about, like, creating this counter-Earth, like, one whopping world, and Thanos is, like, snapping people out of existence throughout the entire universe, okay? And so it just seems like they downgraded the villain here with, calling him the High Evolutionary, which, that name just seems kind of lame to me. So, but Thanos, that's a cool villain name, right? But again, she knows how powerful Thanos and Ego were, but she's still, crapping her pants about the High Evolutionary. And if Thanos and Ego were around, I truly believe that they pretty much stuffed the High Evolutionary in a locker after giving him a swirly, of course, okay? I mean, and another thing about the High Evolutionary, and this is a plot hole, okay, is how is it that Rocket can get mad at him, get furious at him and maul his face until it turns into this grotesque thing, right? He just tears up his face, into this gross, hideous thing that kids would freak out at. Well, people would freak out in general if they saw it. So how could he injure the High Evolutionary like that? But then later on in the movie, the High Evolutionary can blow up an entire room of people but him. All right, my fellow movie maniacs, my fellow freedom-fueled film fanatics, if you would do me a solid and subscribe to this channel, just hit that subscribe button down there, all right? And then also hit the like button down there for this video. That would be fantastic, all right? I definitely would appreciate that. And then also hit that notification bell down there so that you get notifications of new episodes of Movies Merica waiting hot and piping ready for you, okay? And also, get in the comments, all right? Get in the comments and let me hear from you, okay? Because I'm not just doing this for me, okay? I'm trying to do this for you and help everybody out, okay? But I want to hear from you about what did you think of the episode? Any tips? Any areas of improvement, some constructive criticism. Hey, is there a movie that you want me to review? That kind of thing. I just want to hear from you is the point I'm trying to make here, okay? And then also get to tdpn.locals.com, okay? That's our website, okay? And we'd love to see you there because that's where we have like our videos and our blogs and our articles about, with a refreshing new take, like a edgy,
Let's go, I'm bored, let's go.
Like a distinct, unique flair and view that you're not going to get anywhere else. Okay, you are not going to get this kind of content anywhere else, believe me, okay? But you got to go to tdpn.locals.com to check it out, okay? And you can support us each month for just a measly $3, okay? All right? That's like a Hot Pockets, that's a couple of large Snickers bars, whatever, right? Okay. And but right now, though, if you go to tdpn.locals.com and put in promo code TDPN, you get a free month of all the premium content, okay? And there are premium features that only members get, such as my Movies Merica Mad Libs that we have on there, okay? And it's basically, I'm writing a script on the website, and it's under Movies Merica Mad Libs, and I've got 3 characters that I'm writing, because every script has to have a character, right? Okay? And in there's scene 1, okay, that takes place at a bar with these 3 characters that I've created. And then, so I've written the first few lines to let you know what the flavor, what the vibe is of this story, okay? And then you can get on there on tdpn.locals.com, and you can write a line for each character. And then write more lines for each character, and then more lines. You can go crazy. You can just go nuts with it, okay? And me and Ian and Sean, we're going to be playing those 3 characters, okay? So we gotta read whatever you put, okay? So do your worst, all right? But you got to be a member of tdpn.locals.com to do that, okay? So hope to see you there. This movie is way too busy, okay? It's like those tacky, obnoxious Bloody Marys that you see that has like the ham and the shrimp and the bacon and the olives and the shoes and the batteries, all part of the Bloody Mary. Throw some socks in there, and so it's just like one of those obnoxious Bloody Marys that you see. It's just, this movie is just way too busy, okay? This is likely because James Gunn has left Marvel, to be the grand poobah over at DC, and he knew that this was his last stuff, just pack in and stuff in all the stuff that he wants to put into Guardians of the Galaxy, all that content that he wants to stuff in there. It's kind of like when you go on vacation and you got this suitcase, and you're just putting way too much stuff in it, but you're trying to pack it in and whatnot, and then you're trying to sit on the suitcase, trying to stand on the suitcase, trying to close that up. Like, I know you're gonna close, come on, and like you're just stuffing way too much stuff in there, and that's what James Gunn is doing with this movie here. It's too packed full, okay? It's too busy. Because you've got all the Guardians of the Galaxy main characters. Hey, you got to have them in the movie, right? Okay. And you got Kraglin, you got Cosmo, you got Sylvester Stallone, and all the Ravagers. You got these new characters like, Lila and Teef and Floor. You got Warlock. You got this Orga Corp. All the characters associated with the Orga Corp, like Nathan Fillion and Daniela Melchior. And you've got James Gunn's wife, Jennifer Holland, and yet another James Gunn movie, TV show, okay? If it wasn't for her husband, she probably wouldn't get employed at all, okay?
How dare you?
Okay, but, hey, it's, good to have connections, and she's married to him, so she definitely has that connection, if you know what I'm saying. And then also, in addition to James Gunn's wife in this, and everybody else I've already named, you have Counter-Earth and all those characters. Then we run into some trafficked kids later on in the movie that are trafficked in, no doubt, from our southern border, of course, And then you have all the characters in Nowhere, which is like Guardians of the Galaxy headquarters. It's like their home base. So all the characters in Nowhere. You've got Stan, Kenny, Kyle, and Cartman. Okay, I threw in those last few. But you get the point, okay? The movie's too busy, okay? Now, probably at this point, you're probably like, my God, Van, you're so Johnny Raincloud about Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. I assure you I will have some positive things to say about this movie, but only when it deserves it, because I don't shill for anybody, okay? If a movie is crud or it has some cruddy elements, I'm going to say it. I don't care if people think I'm being too negative, okay? I'm going to tell you how it is, okay? And but you know what? Hey, don't worry. There's some positives coming up here soon, okay? Yeah, that's right. Just like you just heard, it's brew review time, and I hope you're thirsty. I know I am, all right? I'm parched. I need a little help with that, and I've got just a thing, all right? I've got a little Nito Bandito. Yes, a little Nito Bandito from my friends at Deep Ellum Brewing Company. All right, let me get that in there, make sure you guys can see that, okay? And that Deep Ellum Brewing Company is actually from here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And you know what? It's a nice little local brewing company. Now, as of late, I wouldn't recommend going down to that brewing company because in Deep Ellum, you're probably in really great danger of being shot, okay, at this point in time. But that's neither here nor there because you don't have to get the Nito Bandito. I couldn't remember the name of it, right? Oh, my God. Wow. It's been a whole, 30 seconds since I said the name. But you can get the Nito Bandito. At GoPuff.com or like Drizzly.com. You can get up there. Because if you live in Walla Walla, Washington, you're probably not going to be able to get, Deep Ellum Brewing Company there. At least I don't think so. But I would definitely check it out here. It's like 6% alcohol by volume, so it has a little kick. Okay, it's not Jack Daniels or anything like that, but it's definitely not tranny fluid from Anheuser-Busch. Okay, so it's a good robust beer, and it's just an American lager, and with a cool name like Nito Bandito. And so, hey, instead of me yapping about it, I'm gonna take a drink. Yes. All right. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Just what the doctor ordered, all right? So, yeah, get yourself some Nito Bandito, and I'm not getting any money from Deep Ellum Brewing Company or anything like that. Okay. I just like reviewing brew for you, just in case you're, into brew as well, and you want to know what a good brew is, okay? So, Nito Bandito. Let's get on with the show. Now, Chris Pratt, he is a drag for the very first part of this movie, but he does eventually wake up out of his cryo sleep as the movie goes on. So by the time they get to what they call Orger Corp, he isn't back in like classic Peter Quill / Star-Lord form, okay? Plus, he gets to say the MCU's very first F-bomb, which in pure MCU on-brand cringe fashion, they actually promoted their first F-bomb in a movie by releasing the clip of that F-bomb in front or before this movie was actually released. Set phasers to maximum cringe, okay? Now, Gamora, she's intriguing because you remember the Gamora from the earlier MCU canon, okay? But she acts totally differently and distant from Quill because she doesn't remember who she was before, including who she was with Peter Quill and what they were together, how they were a couple. And Pratt does a fantastic job. See, I told you I was going to say something positive, okay? So I was going to be Johnny Raincloud the whole time, okay? But Pratt does a good job at portraying a heartbroken guy that has to work with a woman that looks exactly like the woman that he loves, but she doesn't remember him. I mean, torture, right? That would be torture for anybody. And I gotta say, another positive to this movie is, to the movie's credit, they didn't do the predictable thing where Gamora just happens to fall in love with him again. They didn't make that cliche mistake right there. On to the rest of the Guardians of the Galaxy gang. So we have Nebula, and she's like a reanimating girl boss in here in this movie who's just there to yell at Quill. Mantis, she's really only funny when she's using her power to manipulate people's feelings. And then, I am Groot, I am Groot, I am Groot, I am Groot. Rocket is incapacitated for much of the movie, but when he's up and around, he's like this. The struggle is real, emo Rocket. Okay.
I'll be in my room painting. Homo things.
Okay. Gone is the Rocket Raccoon that we knew from the first two movies. Okay. I mean, I've seen therapy sessions for widowers that brought more of the funny than Rocket does in this movie, to be quite honest. But then there's the polar opposite to Rocket Raccoon. We have Drax, the Destroyer, okay? He actually, in this movie, he's like the sorely needed comic relief that Rocket used to be in the first two movies.
Analogy.
Is it?
Metaphor.
And we definitely need it because of some very, very dark subject matter in this movie. And now there are some that are bothered by what they turn Drax the Destroyer into. They're bothered by the fact that into like a himbo, as Nerdrotic would call him, okay? Like this big, dumb punching bag for like the much smarter girl bosses, okay? And apparently Dave Bautista doesn't like that. This is where they took the Drax character at either. But he is hilarious in this, okay? And I say that about Dave Bautista because he has said as much that he doesn't like where they've taken the Drax character. But hey, not his problem anymore. It's the last time he's playing that character. Some humorous honorable mentions to this movie is Nathan Fillion's character. And then Will Poulter playing Warlock. He's got some funny moments in this. But overall, you can tell that the cast is just really ready to have this iteration of Guardians of the Galaxy just up and move on, okay? You know, it was a fun ride while it lasted. All right, my friends and family, thanks a lot for sticking around this long in the episode. It means a lot to me here. And I want to do you a solid in return, okay? I want to tell you all about Nature Clear Recovery Powder, okay? This is a life hack, okay? This is something that you need to have in your arsenal. And what it is I'll just boil it down to you. It's a recovery powder that helps you either prevent a hangover or recover from a hangover, okay? So if you're having too many Nito Banditos, all right, or too much tequila, or Jim Beam, whatever, okay, you're out there partying and you're going at it a little too hard, okay? Well, have no fear. We got Nature Clear Recovery Powder on your side, okay? And so you just have to take this little packet of Nature Clear Recovery Powder, like little packets that you see, like Kool-Aid and that kind of thing in, all right? And just pour it into like 12 ounces of water, or a bottle of water, typical bottle of water, okay? You just chug that on down, and then you go and you hit the clubs, all right? And you party it down, all right? And you don't have to worry about partying too hard because you've got Nature Clear in your veins, okay? But hey, have no fear. If you're out there at the club and you're like, oh man, I'm on my 12th tequila shot and I forgot to take my Nature Clear, no problem, okay? Just take that when you get back home, and that's going to help you out as well. And it also helps you recover from smoking and vaping, okay? So it's not just booze, all right? It's helping you with smoking and vaping. This is a major, like, Swiss Army knife, of recovery just for you, okay? And so you may be asking yourself, hey, how do I get this Nature Clear Recovery Powder? We just got to click on the link in the description, the Nature Clear link in the description. Click on that, and then go there and just pick out what you want to buy. Get it in the cart, all right? And then in the cart, there's a promo code field, and you just got to put in promo code MOVIES. Yes, movies. And you're going to get up to 25% off your purchase, okay? So definitely check it out, okay? I wouldn't promote something that is like useless or only useful to a few people. This is going to come in handy. This is going to be a lifesaver, all right, if you go out there and you like to have a good time, okay? Nature Clear Recovery Powder. Get some. All right, everybody, I come to you with a public service announcement to implore you to hit that subscribe button down there, all right? And that like button as well. And while you're in your clicking mood, hey, go ahead and hit that notification bell down there to get notifications of brand new Movies Merica episodes, okay? And then again, another reminder to get down to that comments section, okay? I really want to hear from you, okay? I really want to hear from you. What do you think of the Nito Bandito beer if you get your hands on it? Any movies that you want me to review? Tell me about a part of this episode that you enjoyed. I really want to hear from you. Let's get those lines of communication going, okay? All right? And also, again, visit tdpn.locals.com. You get a month free if you put in promo code TDPN right now. And then it's like $3 a month after that. So nice and cheap. Even cheap for me, and I'm a massive cheapskate, okay? Just to wrap up this episode about Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, just my thoughts on that, okay? So I'm not recommending that you go see this at the theater, okay? All right. Marvel has got to learn that they cannot just phone it in, okay? The reason that they keep putting movies out there is because people just keep running out there going, it's got Marvel on it. Oh, I don't care. It's got Marvel. Marvel is the greatest. I'm going to go out there and I'm going to go watch whatever Marvel puts out. Stop doing that, okay? If you don't stop doing that, they're not going to learn their lesson, and they're not going to, bust out stuff that is as good as the stuff 10 years ago, okay? Don't you want that stuff again? Don't be so easily impressed, okay? Demand the great Marvel movies that we had from 10 years ago, okay? They owe that to you, okay? And the only way to show that to them is don't go see their movies, okay? Otherwise, you're just telling them if you go, you're like, oh, well, okay, we just made this crappy, cruddy movie that I personally wouldn't watch, but all these normies are out there watching this movie. All right, I guess they want more. We can phone it in for the next movie now. So I would not recommend going to see this movie, okay, to be perfectly honest with you. You could catch it like late night on Stars in 3 years, while you're laying on the couch, scratching your belly button, and it just happens to be on. And what doesn't help is like some of the song choices that they have in this. Like, are you kidding me? Florence and the Machine? Florence and the Machine? That makes no sense whatsoever. Bruce Springsteen's Badlands in the end credits. Come on. The only good song that I liked in this is the Since You've Been Gone by Rainbow. That's a good song, but that's pretty much about it. So just adding to the list of crap that unfortunately I have to recommend, I would not go to the theaters to go see this movie. Okay? All right. Hey, with that, everybody, get out there, people. Those movies aren't going to watch themselves.
Hey guys, don't leave the video quite yet. Okay, I've got a popo. They're coming after me, and I don't have much time to tell you, but you need to like and subscribe this video right here, down below. It's right down there. It's just waiting. It's waiting for you down there, okay? And make sure you watch these videos over here too. You'll be doing me a big favor. I'm gonna be in handcuffs pretty soon. All right, thanks for watching.